About 2 weeks ago, TJ Dillashaw made his long-awaited return to the octagon against Cory Sandhagen after a 2-year suspension for the use of EPO. After 5 hard-fought rounds, TJ would pick up the split decision victory. Although I personally would have scored the bout in favour of Sandhagen, TJ cemented his spot amongst the elites in the division and is now eyeing a return to his spot at the top. Coming off an impressive performance against likely one of the future champions of the division, TJ has a real shot at reclaiming his title. However, the questions regarding his use of PEDs and his controversial snake-like behaviour still looms over his career. Does TJ Dillashaw deserve a second chance? Just to recap, on the 20th of January 2019, TJ moved down a division to challenge for the flyweight title. Throughout the build-up, TJ repeatedly referenced being the man to kill the division.
I'm doing this, TJ, I'm not doing it just for me, man. I'm doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for all the 125.
And that's your problem. I'm doing this for myself. This is a selfish sport. I'm going out there and I'm winning for myself. I'm going to be the greatest.
Although it's good to be selfish in combat sports, he seemed unnecessarily cold-blooded and unperturbed with his intentions to put an entire division of fighters out of a job.
You know, it's a win-win for me, man. They're paying me a load of money to move down and kill the 125-pound division and collect the second belt, so it's game time.
This was made especially grim considering Joseph Benavidez, one of TJ's former training partners, was one of these flyweights that he was willing to put out of a job. In the most fortunate turn of events imaginable, Henry Cejudo knocks out TJ within 30 seconds. Upon further analysis on one of the pre-fight samples, USADA finds out that TJ had been taking EPO, a performance-enhancing drug that can only enter the system through injections. Checkmate. Had TJ won that fight, the flyweight division would have already been shut down, putting multiple fighters out of a job by the time he popped for EPO. Thank God Henry won. When TJ popped, the entire MMA community descended on TJ's career. On top of being a backstabbing snake according to Team Alpha Male, he was also now a cheater, a man willing to not only fight a smaller man, destroy a division, and put a roster of fighters out of a job, but he was also willing to cheat in order to do so. As if a 2-year suspension and being hated worldwide wasn't enough, popping for EPO specifically called TJ's whole career into question. One of TJ's main attributes throughout his career was his renowned cardio. He was able to press the action and maintain high output over 5 rounds. Coincidentally, EPO is a hormone that aids in producing red blood cells to carry oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. In short, it drastically boosts somebody's endurance, thus further incriminating TJ. Was he a cheat from the very beginning? After TJ popped, USADA went back and tested his previous samples for EPO. They all came back negative, but facts don't have a say in the court of public opinion. According to TJ, he only used the EPO to make weight at 125 because the weight cut was making him feel drained and tired. This would make sense as TJ is already big for the bantamweight division. He walks around within the 150-pound region, so he already has to cut 15 pounds for 135. Pushing himself to cut 25 pounds to make flyweight would have been borderline impossible. Although it's somewhat believable that it was just a one-time thing and TJ only took the EPO for the Cejudo fight, Cody Garbrandt called out TJ for the use of PEDs just 2 years earlier.
Cody, straight down in front here. One of the accusations made at TJ was the fact that he'd taken some special supplements.
Oh yeah, the guy's on everything.
Yeah.
It's on everything.
Not only this, he was able to specifically name EPO as one of the drugs TJ took. Team Alpha Male threw accusations at TJ for years after their departure, attempting to expose him and bring him down. Most of these accusations fell flat and left the team looking clingy and desperate to taint TJ's legacy, but after popping for EPO, it felt like the team had finally been vindicated. The fact that Cody called out TJ for EPO, a drug that's rarely used in MMA, validated the rest of the stories they spread about TJ. I, myself, am not a big fan of TJ Dillashaw. Even without the EPO, the sheer number of stories regarding him cheap-shotting, injuring, and snaking his sparring partners just don't sit well with me. But listening to some of his recent interviews and hearing him reflect on his past mistakes really struck me as genuine.
But another reason why it's so important to be upfront about everything. You know, I've been upfront since day one. As soon as it was announced, I've been upfront about it because putting it behind me. And I'm not only putting it behind me so I don't have to answer it anymore, but also putting it behind me because it's like therapy. You know, you go to a therapist and talk about what's bothering you, you talk about what's weighing you down, so you don't have those problems weighing you down anymore. And it's something that I've gotten past. You know, it's not weighing me down anymore because I've been so open about it. So, you know, you could say I was open about it and that was the right thing to do, but I think it was the best thing to do for myself.
As it stands now, nobody knows whether TJ was juiced up the whole time or not. But for argument's sake, we have to take TJ's word for it, as his previous tests did come back negative. If TJ was on PEDs the whole time, he definitely would not deserve a second chance. But, giving him the benefit of the doubt in this situation, he made a poor decision and paid the price for it. He got knocked out and suspended for 2 years. He's paid his dues, and he's shown us in his most recent fight that he can compete at the highest level without EPO. Everybody makes mistakes, some vastly different than others. If TJ has really learned from his mistakes, then why not give him a second chance? I may not be the biggest fan of TJ, but his fighting style makes for some of the most technically chaotic fights imaginable. But let me know your thoughts on this matter. Do you agree? Disagree? Comment down below. And while you're down there, you may as well like, subscribe, that sort of thing. Thanks for watching.